Hello, friends. Welcome back to Trevor's Ghost Journal, Volume 1, The Search for Headless Bert, Entry 07. Let us start with a little bit of a travel log while I show you about my joyful little trip to Yorkshire and my quick stop in Stainsacre. Hello, friends. Here we are in Stainsacre at the Windmill Inn. I just wanted to get some shots of this place so that you would have an idea of where I was talking about when speaking about Headless Bert. Here we are in Stainsacre on the path where Bert Marshall apparently walked the tracks. This path used to be the railroad tracks, I believe. And I believe behind me is where old Bert Marshall walks looking for his head, clacking his teeth like castanets. Well, there we go. Wasn't that fun? Pleasant little trip it was, too. Okay, part 1. Reactions to the story. Most of the people that I ended up telling the story to seemed to agree with the sentiment that Yorkshire people are frugal. And a lot of people got a chuckle out of it when I said that Bert Marshall was so tight with money that he would make them look as if they were on a spending spree holiday in Las Vegas. But in general, the reaction to the story that I felt was the most telling, the most validating, was the one that I got from the patrons at the Windmill Inn. And I will tell you about that in a moment. Pretty much everybody else, though, really enjoyed the story, felt that I told it well, and thought that it was a pretty standard story. It sounded about right to a lot of people. I sort of sharpened my storytelling skills several times before going to the Windmill Inn to tell the story. I found myself not wanting to pull my notebook out and grill locals with a bunch of questions about, how they felt about their social, ethical, qualifications. There was a part of me that realized that may have been insensitive, not fun for them. And so I pretty much, I left it alone and tried to pick up what I could by watching them. And what I saw was, I saw a countryside that requires a lot of labor, a lot of hard manual work to keep it going. And I saw people who were generally in fair spirits. Definitely, I saw a lot of people who enjoyed having fun. And so I have to assume, given these two details, that they are a work hard, play hard kind of people. Which seems to, so far fit with everything that I have found. Part 2. An American storyteller in a North Yorkshire pub. I entered this cozy, warm, familial atmosphere as I stepped into the Windmill Inn. And my first thought was that the website description could never truly capture the charm and ambiance of this, to my eyes, very old pub. The smells and the sounds, it instantly made me feel at home. It had a feel like every other favorite bar or pub that I've been in. The kind of place where they get to know you. So I politely introduced myself and informed them about my mission to hunt down this ghost story. I wanted to be cognizant of the fact that they were a business that was open and serving. And there were patrons in the bar, what appeared to be a couple sitting on their own, staring longingly into each other's eyes, and also a family, small family. I would say probably parents in their 30s and the child. Five or six, maybe. So I felt the need to not include all the gory details of the story. And, there was, of course, the bartender and a few guys in there drinking who looked like they worked there in the evenings, but as you do, go in and have a few pints before work in the day. I knew I had to grab their attention quickly to be allowed to stay and tell my story and maybe get a reaction. So I asked if they'd, heard the story of Headless Bert Marshall. I figured the headless part would get their attention. The more important looking of the two men who looked like they worked there said, I thought he was in here last night. To which I said, no, I believe that was legless Bert Marshall. Headless Bert Marshall, somebody completely different. And I got a good round of laughter from the bar. I knew I'd bought myself some time. So, I told the story. And again, when I got to the part about how tight with money Bert Marshall was, that sounds like a Yorkshireman. I said, no, makes you look like you're free spenders in Las Vegas. To which the gentleman paused in his sipping of his beer. I knew I had him hooked. But I certainly picked up the tempo of the story. And when I got done, as I let the image of teeth being clacked like castanets float through the air of the bar, the gentleman looked into his beer, took a sip, and said, "Hey, sounds about right. The beer in Robin Hood's Bay is definitely too dear." And I realized that the fact of the cheap beer had validated the story for everyone listening in the bar. That to them, I had told them a true story about their own ghost. And the fact that I had called Robin Hood's Bay's beer expensive was the grain of truth that they needed to believe it. The other reaction that the gentleman had was that he'd walked that path many a time, many a night, and he definitely heard some clacking behind him and felt something pushing him, but usually it were the missus trying to get him home faster. Again, that got a round of chuckle from the bar, and I felt like my mission there was done, so I thanked them for their time, and took my leave. Part 3, Conclusions. From the observations that I have made, from what I saw, these are a hard-working people with strong spiritual beliefs and a strong community bond. Very down-to-earth and pragmatic. Their view of the universe is very well anchored in what is. And I think the true moral of the story for them is that the beer in a tourist town is gonna be too expensive. And I think that the rest of us are all just left to find our own truth in the story. Thank you, friends, for joining me for this investigation. I have no idea what we've learned, but I have very much enjoyed the journey. Have a good evening.